We are asking you to be with us. Oh Lord, we don't forget those people who are suffering in Uganda, that we are together with them, oh Lord. Father, we want you to open. And Father, because of the children, that he has continued killing the children of Uganda. Father, the women are widows. Father, even the fathers. Father, we want you to help us, oh God. Hear our prayers. Us and neighbors of Uganda. We are standing with our people in Uganda. We are standing so that, Lord, you can hear our prayers. Father, I want to pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Mama Selina. She's our sister from Kenya, and she's always here representing. So let's give her a big round of applause. So we're now going to have our anthems. Isaac, if you can start with the U.S. anthem. Who can stand up?
Now I'd like to ask Honorary Wiseman to introduce our delegates from Uganda.
People power, our power, NUP, God is good all the time. I am extremely privileged this afternoon to be before you, honorable comrades in the struggle. We are seated here this afternoon to once again think, plan, organize, build capacity, interact towards one goal: liberating our motherland, Uganda. Therefore, all of you who are here, who have taken off your very prestigious time here in the diaspora. It's not like back home. Everybody works in accordance to time. So you taking off all this time to come and deliberate about your country, it is a plus enough for the people back home. You inspire us, you implore us to do more, because you are also with us, and we can never take that for granted. We want to specifically thank those that are not Ugandans, but have understood the plight of humanity back home and have joined this struggle. Our promise to you, I will get opportunity in the coming hours, and our promise to you, those of you who are not on the front line back home, for us who are on the front line, we are steadfast, we are sure, and we can assure you we will not relent until what we have asked ourselves to do comes to reality. Nothing, not death, not imprisonment, not torture, not blackmail will stop this uprising that we started in 2017. Nothing will stop it. And let's keep united, let's keep focused. The sky is the limit, and I believe we shall reach the new Uganda we are all yearning to have. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alex Wison Fimbiro. I'm the deputy spokesperson of the National Unity Platform and the People Power Movement. And I am very humbled to be in the United States for the first time. I did a post yesterday that it was my dream to see the White House physically. And I have now gone there twice. So I am still counting how many times I should go there, because I believe I may have a free glimpse of the president himself. But it is a great feeling, and we are geared up for this conference. I want to introduce the people who are here with us in this hall right now. Amid distance is the party treasurer, Comrade Benjamin Katana. He does a lot of work. He's not only our party treasurer, but he's also our legal brain. You know, we are the most persecuted political party in the history of Uganda. But those young men have won pro bono services to make sure that those in the line of the struggle get the legal representation that we deserve. Thank you very much, Benjamin. You are very my duty now is to introduce those who are here with us, but as you know, the president is in the building. He's only engaged with a few engagements, but he is following whatever is going on. I want to embrace and tell you that Honorable Naukela Hanifa of Mukono District, who represents us in Mukono District, she's here with us. So most welcome, Honorable Hanifa Naukela. We have Honorable Kaya Christine Chiboga. She defeated somebody who thought that she was undefeatable. But with all the magic, for her she used people power and her strength to rally support in Chiboga. And we won the whole of Chiboga because of her leadership. Thank you very much, Madam Kaya. I may say, you see why she has not said that one of Mukono, even Mukono, we took all of it. Thank you for the leadership. We have Honorable Katabazi Francis Mutanzige. I believe he will be joining us shortly. But to the benefit of the leader of opposition, it is important that we note that Honorable Katabazi is with us. And as you witnessed, Mr. Lowe, he still has the abilities on the playing field. I want to introduce finally, in this room, the presence of our leader of opposition, and most importantly, our deputy president. The Right Honorable Matthias Mpuga, and because of time, he is having a tight schedule. He has a flight to Canada, where he's also going to interface with issues of Ugandans. But we want to thank him that he did not take this conference for granted. He still found time to come and be part of us despite the other side being also a matter of national importance. We thank you for giving us this time, and without any further ado, Mr. Deputy President, please, you're welcome to come and address the congregation. We are sorry for breaking a little bit of the protocols, but after his presentation, we shall get back to the wholesome state of the protocols. I thank you. God bless you, and let's be together for this. Thank you.
Much appreciated Comrade Waiswa Mufumbiro, the Deputy Party Spokesperson, the Chairperson of our convention and platform in the US, Dr. Kauma and your team, our friends, especially the friends of the People Power Movement, Prof here, with him yesterday, educating us on very critical issues. The leadership of NUP and the Power Movement in the US and beyond. To you, comrades, members of Parliament, I'll end with you. I'll be very brief this afternoon. First of all, I bring you greetings from the President, who asked me to open this afternoon session because of his schedule. I'm sure I will be with him a lot more in the coming hours and the 2 days ahead of us. The Doctor and your team want to appreciate you for organizing this year's convention in DC. If you asked me, the most difficult people to organize are adults. You can organize 100 school children, but not 100 adults into an activity. And especially in an event that is as strenuous as politics. So I want to applaud you, comrades here in this room and outside, for the immense sacrifice you have made to be a part of this convention. Whatever you do to sustain the pressure and the motivation and what brings us together, which is rekindling the spirit that was born at the making of Uganda more than 60 years ago. For you to accept being part of this is a huge sacrifice, to which some of us appreciate immensely. And I want to bring you greetings from Parliament and the team in Parliament that does a very onerous job on a daily basis. You know, I was sharing colleagues earlier yesterday that just waking up every day as a Ugandan is burden enough. Just to wake up as a Ugandan is a huge obligation on your shoulders. It's enough stress for you every day waking up and be reminded that you're actually Ugandan, that you must face an armed tyrant every day without direction, but unable to move or even offer promise and hope that home will be better. Being in the diaspora where you are today and where you thrive and make effort for a better Uganda is no mean feat. The challenges of being on a foreign land are challenges that really are huge, a huge calling. The demands home are immense. But the time you spend, the resources you sacrifice, the energy and motivation you give us are the reason why you wake up every day believing and hoping that tomorrow is going to be better. I want to thank you most sincerely, comrades in the diaspora. And to Doctor and your team, for you to be able to come up and say, hey, we're not only interested in what's going on home, but we're going to even offer leadership on the scene. It's even a huge sacrifice. I want to thank you, all of you from the different chapters you're coming from, for making that sacrifice. That's what you owe the country called home. And not to implore you, never to give up. I was asked by the committee to speak about the youth, organizing the youth into leadership in their country and their spaces they occupy. It's a very big subject. It's wide and it has no borders. I'm very sure if any of you were given a microphone to speak about the same, you can speak about the youth until the cows come home. But I want you guys less than 15 minutes to say the following. The President tasked me with the duty to be in Edmonton to cross a meeting, a gathering of Ugandans. Edmonton has over 7,000 Ugandans. And across the whole week, we have had cultural festivities. And the majority of them are people power supporters. So I am going there to close their ceremonies tomorrow. And with your permission, I will convey your greetings, comrades, to them and encourage them to keep the fire burning. But before I take leave, allow me to say the following. First of all, I don't have the statistics about the demographic composition of, say, the United States or America. But in Uganda, the youth are anywhere between 67 to 75% of the population. Probably, to put it more aptly, the younger people below 30 years constitute that percentage. And the biggest dividend of the people power movement. They're the biggest asset of the people power movement. The young people, in fact, I prefer calling them young people than calling them the youth. Because calling them youth could make them believe that they have a lot of time to behave like really little ones. And being young does not make you small. The young people in Uganda are the biggest demographic dividend that the power movement draws from. And part of the reason is because they are inspired by our president. The president inspired so many young people to be interested in their country, in its politics, and its progress. Which is why we look at them as our biggest resource. Even without any penny at our disposal. But with these young people, it's more than money. Because they are interested. But mark this, they are diverse. We have the educated, the uneducated, the half-educated, the unemployed, the disguisingly employed, the desperate, the hopeful, and hopeless. All those are categorizations you can think of the young people back home. So, any leader wishing to influence the young people must bear in mind this diversity and therefore think through it accordingly to be able to help them and turn them into a resource from which we can draw energy and encouragement. Across time, the youth have been mobilized by our movement. You know, 3 things you must do if you're going to really help and make use of the young people. 1, you must mobilize them from wherever they are. And mobilization has so many facets. It can be by motivation, by inspiration, like the president does, or just deliberate. But when you mobilize them, you also must do 2 other things. One, you must orient them. Orientation means you must be able to feed them with the right category of knowledge and information to what they are useful. Because the third stage after orientation is deployment. So you must be able to orient them such that at deployment you are deploying people who are well oriented, who are well exposed on the ethos of the movement, on the dreams of the country we want them to sacrifice for, on the aspirations and dreams of their forebearers that lived before us at the making of Uganda more than 6 years ago. When you do that, they'll be able to appreciate you. But if you deploy them before orientation, you're asking them to go out there and do as they choose. And that's very dangerous. So the young people must be mobilized, oriented, and deployed. If you don't deploy them, they'll deploy themselves. So you end up with square pegs in round holes. So through the process of orientation, you're able to monitor, sieve, pick this variety of skills at your disposal. Because they are multi-talented, they are multi-skilled. So during orientation, you're able to pick and know which young people are able to do what for you, for a purpose. It's not orientation and deployment for the sake of it. You pick skills, you leverage on the skills, you will know, for example, that when you deploy, young people purposeful. It's purposeful deployment because we have gone through orientation and we know what they can do. In our yesteryears, when I was a young Democrat, I have seen former young Democrats in this room. That's how they used to do it. Before DP assumed a yellow handle. What did I say? So, Comrade Nachijoba knows so well how it used to be done. So deployment was purposeful. You'll be deployed according to your skills, and it was helpful. No collision because it's purposeful. Anyway, we know your strengths, we know your weaknesses, and we monitor you according to what we have observed of you. And therefore, our expectations are anchored on what we have known of you and your capacity. That's part of the duty that we have for the young people of our times. They are the majority, overwhelmingly and scaringly interested in matters of governance in the country. They are very keen, but they must be fed with the right skills. The yesteryears were years of harvesting from the Industrial Revolution. Our times are troubled times of technological stroke ICT revolution. So what do you do with the young people that are growing up for orientation and deployment in the technological era? So you must speak the right set of skills to empower them to communicate appropriately and effectively. I am not a communication expert, but communication experts will tell you what it means to communicate appropriately and effectively. If communication is not appropriate and it's not effective, it becomes noise. Who has time for noise? People do not really surrender their precious time for noise. People listen to filtered information. Now the danger for me and you comrades that are in this space, in these troubled times, is how do you choose the right information to give the young people? Take a small example. Wherever there is a vacuum in communication from the people power stroke NUP enclaves, the young people are oriented by bloggers. You understand? So they feed them whatever they pick. From whichever garbage skip, they pick and feed them. Because that's what is available for them to pick. Then the question is, do we have a deliberate program to pick, to sift, to deploy information for the younger people that we are breeding in a technological stroke information age, that they are very useful to what we need? Because communication today makes and breaks. So if you want to be effective, useful, and forceful in how you communicate, you must choose what you want to communicate and for what purpose. So this is the kind of onerous duty that we owe the young people. As we pick, we train and deploy them. We must capacitate them. We must empower them to have junctions or moments of asking questions. The times have gone when you could feed the young people with whatever you want. The young people at times listen but also ask questions, including very tough questions. And we must be willing to answer. No leader can lead the young people with vagueness. The question of the day, are we prepared to face them and respond to their endless questions with firmness and finality, with truthfulness? When you are vague and you're involved in double talk, they can see through. One of the biggest assets at our disposal is the availability of information. So if it is your duty as the LOP to give the young people information, the questions are, have you understood the fact that you do not have monopoly over information? Are you aware that your lies can be double-checked? Are you aware that your lies, your information will be impeached for reliability, for truthfulness, and dependability? Those are the young people. They question your wisdom, they question your direction, they question your intentions, they question your motivation. So we must be prepared to carry them with us in these struggles, aware of their nature. I prefer to just speak about the nature of the young people and their oppression environment, that we can understand what is around us so that we don't make mistakes, believing that we can carry them through whatever we want to do without being able to respond to their questions. However, mark these two junctions. Young people are like dogs. Even a trained dog needs to be followed up. Even a dog deployed on a mission is supposed to be followed up. Because without follow-up, they can be fatal. Their actions can be fatal. So whoever deploys them for a purpose must follow up and see whether they're actually doing what you are willing to do. Because they have the propensity for digression is very high. I don't know what is the average propensity or margin propensity, but they are easily diverted over very, very small, mundane things. So they need to be followed up. Two, they are young people that require also tough love. They need tough love. If we babysit them and consider them babies over time, huge mistake. When we speak to them about what matters, we ask sometimes to be tough on them to see the bigger picture. And because they have been brought up in times of dishonesty, insincerity, theft, runaway corruption, it's very easy for them to believe that that is a sign of unknown of their time. So how do you summon a capacity to say, hey, I know you know this, but it's stupid for you to believe that that's the way life is led. So why we do whatever we do with them, a minimum level of tough love is desired for us to be able to bring up purposeful, useful, and effectual young people. They are around us. If you invited them and made a head count, my generation and those slightly below me are the minority. We are a very huge minority, so to say. And therefore, if you are the minority and you intend to influence the majority, you must behave yourself in a particular manner that will motivate the majority to believe in the minority. On another day, I will speak about the youth until the cows come home. For a long time, I led the youth, and when I met a group of 10, for 5 minutes, I would tell that they're telling lies. Just looking at their demeanor and what they say, I can tell their direction. Doctor, the team from Uganda, all these members of parliament will tell you that their biggest headache in their communities are young people. They're such a positive headache because their elders gave up. They came up. So they're a positive headache for us to have. And all debate, man of conversion about them should be around how do we motivate them to do the right thing, to keep doing it, not to give up on it, drive through their time and leave it. May God bless you. People power. Our power. People power. Thank you so much.
People power. Our power. People power. We're going to take 3 questions in relation to his presentation. And I want to choose those hands very quickly. It means you've understood. Or a comment. It can be a question, a clarity, a comment. One, another one. Another hand. Yes, 2 and 3. Please come in quickly. Or you can speak from there. We have a microphone around there that can be passed on. Yes. Thank you.
Please let's try to be very brief with the questions because we are really running behind schedule. So just keep the question very short. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Fatu Corona. I'm a Sierra Leonean, but I am a believer in the People Power Movement and the NUP. My question to you is, with everything going on in Uganda, I was wondering how you guys are trying to put the youth, the young people together so they will be able to come to the streets, because we have been working hard in the diaspora. So we are waiting for that day that they will come to the streets and bring an end to this dictatorship. So please advise. Thank you.
Very poignant observation. Let me facilitate all the questions, probably are related.
Thank you so much. Our leader of opposition. I have actually listened to you when you were talking about the youth, and I do agree with you 100% that when it comes to the struggle, I would say I think they are the most diverted people. That even if there is something going on that puts the dictator down, they will divert themselves and go somewhere. I'll give an example. Recently, when our president traveled to the US to launch his move in New Jersey, there was also the daughter of the junta back home. She was also launching things he mentioned that her dad or her father has done for Ugandans. And then immediately, I think people is a singer called Arlene Skin. All of a sudden, things come in and they diverted and start, So, since you know this, what is your arrangement and other members of parliament that are here? What are you planning to make sure that we keep these youth busy and on issues? Thank you.
The gentleman across. No, he's up there, behind. Oh.
Only 3 questions.
Let me take this opportunity to say thank you very much, Leader of Opposition. And my question is so simple. You've talked about the youths and the way they are hard to handle. And you talked about how media is diverting them. But sometimes I'm seeing that you give them opportunity to have chances to ask you questions or to question what you're doing. For example, today we're seeing that DP and UPC are part of the opposition in Uganda. But we've never had you come up saying, we are not working with UPC, UPC should have where to sit. But you dialogue with them, yet they are the vice presidents, they are the ministers. So these such things make youths to raise up a lot of questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Very, very deep questions and insights. My sister from Sierra Leone, thank you for the interest. Africa is one huge nation, separated by imaginary boundaries. So thank you for the interest. I'll say this to you. How do you get the youth to live up to the promise of their time? On another day, I would have shared with you what it takes. I know probably you have an idea to get the youth to where you want them to go. But I will say this, you should never, for some of you who know how grasshoppers are caught, you do not lead the youth the way we catch grasshoppers. Throw a stone in the bush, and then they jump out, and you have no net. They simply go. If the whole youth movement is going to be effectual and consequential, it moves with organization. Back home, what we have embarked on is to have the people power movement more structured and more organized. Once you do that, there will be linear communication. Top, bottom, or bottom, up. When communication is linear, questions are answered without vagueness. Issues are responded to with clarity. Challenges are handled with fairness and with genuineness. Because the people power movement sprang from the frustration of the politics of the day, there was not enough time to build enduring structures, to incubate it and midwife it. It's an ongoing job. It's not an endless job. Yes, we play as we organize. It will come to fruition. That I can assure you. Probably comrades that have more time, like the spokesperson will share with you, Comrade Joel, what is at stake and what we are doing to make sure that we are not a scattered movement, that not everybody will come and speak for us. No, that's the job ongoing, that we have clarity. So I think that's one of the responses to that question. Comrade is asking, what are you doing to make sure that the youth are not diverted? That question should have been asked in third person plural, not first person singular. When you ask you should have asked, what can we do? We are here for a dialogue, what should be done? I don't have an answer 1 + 2. equals 3. So we should evolve instead a framework from this room and beyond that can put us in a situation where we can respond to the needs of the youth and make sure that there's no digression of their effort and our effort, that all of us feed in the same basket. There's no single answer that we should do this, but part of the answer is my communication I gave in my preambles, namely that the youth needs to be well organized, oriented, and deployed. If you do not deploy, if you don't orient and deploy, they will do self-orientation and do self-deployment. And they will not be asked about you. They will ask you, is it you who selected me? Is it you who sent me here? It's my job, I'm doing it on my own. You understand? So they will remind you that actually you do not own them. That as long as you confess that you are for the people power movement, you are for NUP, then you must live by the code. That's the essence of mobilization, orientation, and deployment. Those linear activities must move in sync if you're going to avoid diversion and digression. Then my brother, part of what is disturbing the youth is that we are not helping matters. We sit with the UPC and the DP. In our space, I'll speak for the parliamentary space. For instance, it is inevitable if you are going to be consequential as a political group for you to speak to your enemy. Your enemy, speaking to them is not an act of surrender. No way. And leaders should really know that you're not going to run out from your enemy. As long as you are a leader like in my space, it's inevitable. Unless you're a demagogue. But if you're genuine, I must find out what motivates the UPC working with the NRM. Why, for example, we have very good UPC and DP MPs that are working with us. In my shadow cabinet, my shadow minister for defense, the Honorable Jonathan Odul, a UPC member from Erute South, very, very brilliant young man, very committed. He's UPC. So progressively, I can only work with him as long as we work with me. Same thing with DP. I think we should take people for what they are. And we know we have had the UPs and DPs denounce the activities of some of their leaders. I have had a meeting with DP MPs denouncing Mao and his activities. Should I hold them for what Mao did? I don't think that should be the space of a leader. If today I met my president at Magere and NRM people came to visit him, probably to make confessions or surrender, should I hold the president and say, why did you speak to NRM? We want to lead the country from Kisoro to Zombo, not from Magere to Masaka. And in that space, we have friends and people are not friends. It's our job to make sure that those people see the folly of their activities and join the liberation for a new Uganda. That's what I can say in the circumstances, comrade. I hope I've answered some of your questions. If I haven't, I pray that the comrades coming after me will probably try to respond. And I want to ask of you kindly to allow me to take leave. I'll miss the subsequent sessions, but I promise, Doctor, on another day, a good life, we'll meet. And pray that we meet in Canada next month. God bless you.
We are in America, I'm yet to know whether my Usoga works. I will put the wrong in Uganda. Thank you very much, our Deputy President and our Leader of Opposition for your presentation. I will ask Honorable Katabas to walk you out. Please escort the Deputy President. They all come from Masaka, so I have authority to order them to do the same. Thank you very much. Without wasting any further time, without wasting any time, I am going to take this segment for about 10 minutes or 15 to speak about something core, and that is the relationship between the diaspora and the people back home on the front line. That is the foot soldiers. She has ever asked the question of what is being done to rally the young people to the streets. What we need to do is to build capacity. We have identified the problem, and that problem that we have identified, we are cognizant of all the challenges, but then we must build the capacity. And to us, who are doing whatever we can to build that capacity, it cannot be done in isolation of your existence. Because fundamentally, you have been the number one financer of this struggle. And I want to thank you for that. You have done this to the amazement of us, but also to the shock of the dictator. Every time we travel to where you are, you know what is castigated back home. That we are here to merry-make, but not only to merry-make, that we are being funded by the Western powers. And that is not true. NUP is not funded by any Western power. And no Western power has even influenced the ideology of removing Museveni to us. We are the ones selling the idea to estoppel the West from funding the dictator. Because I can tell you who are in this room, that without the billions, USA gives 1 billion shillings to Uganda per year. And this comes in terms of armory, in terms of tear gas, in terms of whatever, and this money is unaccounted for. But the president has unequivocally told us that these monies that are given to General Kaguta Museveni, it has no accountability. He uses this as he wishes. You had political parties receiving money to stop a war that will never be stopped. Nobody will stop this, nobody. And that is a fact, because we are yearning for change, and change is a fact of life. So we cannot run away from the fact of life. And we are the change we have been badly needing. We are the change for us who are here. And it is important that your capacity, your inspiration and aspirations to have Uganda liberated must not be bogged down, and that is the underlying one, must not be bogged down by ineptness of our foot soldiers or us who are back home. We must work together, both those who are in the diaspora and those who are back home. But then we have had a challenge, and I speak this as one of the leaders of the foot soldiers, but as also a person who has been on the front line, on ground. What should be our interaction? What should be our limitations? Because it is dangerous to be in the diaspora and you command back home for war. A good general must be on ground. I know many of you are good generals, but we must have some alignment to have this work, there must be alignment. Because for us, we have the demography, we know the terrain under which we are operating. And that terrain, you can be best advised by us who are on the front line and have liability of public trust. There are challenges we have faced as the Secretariat. People get involved in activities not sanctioned by us. But of course, for us to support anything that is pro-change, that has been our stand. Anything that will remove Museveni will have the backing of the National Unity Platform, in whatever form it comes. But that does not mean for us we are up to something. And what we are up to is what we are organizing and building capacity for. So it is important that we don't break the chain of the capacity that we are building. Ladies and gentlemen, I am speaking with clarity. It is dangerous if we break the capacity we are building. If you mislead a foot soldier to an activity that later deprives us of his availability for the cause of the real struggle, and sometimes the people back home, because of you not being in touch with all of us, use the window of speaking directly to you to sometimes also take it for granted. Somebody convinced somebody in the diaspora, I don't want to say names, that they were going to burn down a certain town. So these people were having all those materials of burning that could suppose they could burn down the town. And they were taking pictures to confirm that they are going to do it. But they were not going to do it. They were only taking pictures for the person in the diaspora to send them the money. Now imagine, the day we will need the money, it will somebody else, a masquerader, will have taken it. The Bible says, Tuzara mibili. Tuzara. Tuzara mibili simyoyo. Tuzara mibili simyoyo. Tuinamu bafu soja nga twabazala emibiri naye nga tetwabazala myoyo. I want to speak with clarity because this has affected us. We don't want you to be gullible to things that are going to tire you in this struggle. I don't know whether you're getting me. We don't want you to be gullible, to go for what will not work, to go for lies, because amongst us still, we have people who have not fully understood what we are up to. We have people who have taken this as personal interest, and we are too busy to chase everybody because we must be focused to remove the dictator. And we want you not to stop empowering us, but you should empower on something that is not a lie. Do not empower deceit and spend on deceit. There is no single individual who will carry out an assault and remove Museveni in Kampala. That is a lie. That is why we are building capacity to have the numbers and overwhelm them with the numbers. And that capacity we are building, we want to assure you. So we don't want to break that chain. And many times it is broken. Without doubt, there are people in prison because of recklessness and negligence. But this recklessness and negligence was precipitated by our own. And I believe you understand what I'm saying. There is a story in the Dominican Republic. Somebody in the diaspora, I'm talking about the Dominican Republic, hired members from the diaspora in an Arab country to go back home and carry out the coup. And at the time they were doing so, this person was an informer of the state. So they empowered an informer of the state in the Dominican Republic, and this informer of the state worked with the foot soldiers of the Dominican Republic, and there was nothing they were working for. They were all naked and taken away. And that affected the capacity of the people of the Dominican Republic. Now that example should quickly go to your minds. We don't want such scenarios in this revolution, where the able generals that we have built, that whose capacity has been built by your institution, we are losing them to either disappearance, tiring, because we are not organized. Feel always free to interact with the Secretariat on very serious issues. Because at the end of the day, we are the backstop. Once all those things happen, then we call Benjamin. Benjamin, you have to put on your suit and go to court. Because it will still come back to the national unity platform. There is no day we will wake up and say, because we want to remove Museveni. But do not force us to align ourselves to what is happening, even if it is wrong. Because sometimes we don't want to leave our own in the wilderness. So we move with you. But we should be organized. We will remove Museveni. I want to repeat it here. We will remove Museveni. And Museveni knows it, because we don't fear him anymore. We fear the capacity that he has built for 40 years, and it is what we are working on. Some of us, thank God, we have conquered the fear. We no longer fear whatever he has been organizing and building capacity. And we are passing on this message to everybody. So the foot soldiers are a very important component, and you should continue to support them individually, those of you who have done it on the basis of their individual capacities. But do not overwhelm them with duty. Do not overwhelm them with duty. Because even what they can't execute, they will desire to execute it, because there is something that comes from this side. So you'd rather keep it cordial, truthful, such that we go forward together. Fatanyai. We want to move in the same direction, because truth be told, we need to build the capacity. We all know what we are going to do. We all know it. My boss knows it, Benjamin knows it, my deputy president knows it, you also know it, what we are going to do. But we must build capacity. We must not be naive that we are just going to wake up in the morning, go on the street, and it is done. No, we must build capacity. And that capacity we are building is not done overnight. Why we are here is to build capacity. To make sure that the financiers no longer have that capacity to finance the junta. Such that whatever activities we have in stock, we have a lot of activities in stock against Museveni. But then there are things we must do before the real activities are carried out. The international community must know that if there is ever a fight in Uganda, they funded the fight. And we must do that maximally. So we want to implore our comrades that the relationships with us back home on the front line should be guided. Some of our people are lost in admiration of who you are being in the diaspora. So they will not tell you what is possible and what is impossible. It is important. I know even here there are some foot soldiers of the diaspora. I always see them. Those of you who go out and protest every day, How are you supposed to? People say you are my brother, I'm here to do a DNA test. You do a good job and remain consistent. What we are trading in this revolution is commitment and consistency. Do not tire. Do not think that it's going to come overnight. Somebody said we go there 15. Even if you go there 2, even if you go there 1, that voice you use that day is being heard by another ear that you do not know. We need to pass on the message and pass it on relentlessly. The more you get involved in removing Museveni, the more you will understand why we actually need to remove Museveni. The more I have been involved in thinking and seeing what we should do, is the more I have satisfied myself that I am going to remove Museveni. Let's give it the time and thought that we need to give it. Let us empower those who can. I'm very excited to see people in advanced age, our fathers and grandfathers, our ministers. Please clap for them. It speaks volumes because it means we even have the wisdom of our elders. We have their backing. Nothing is good for a child to be backed by a parent when they are backing you for a war like we are in, of liberating our mother nation. It empowers us. Guide us on ground. Give us the knowledge that we want, that we badly need. Some of us back home are not fully literate. If you can assist in understanding the few cores of our values as a party to these people you come out and interact with, please do so. Because it's going to assist us to align our army and use it for the purpose we all desire to have. I want to thank you for the time. I am a bit verbose. 15 minutes. I'm not at the same time. I've been seeing my boss Joel looking at me and saying, now this man has started speaking a lot. So I don't want to break the rules. But I want to implore you, comrades, first of all, thank you very much. It is because of you that we look the way we look. Clap for yourselves. Whenever people say the same thing, I smile. Not because we are working with government, no, because we have the backing of comrades who decided that their everyday hustle should be part of the liberation of Uganda, and we shall forever thank you for that. And the only prize you will have is to come back to Uganda because we are going. So we thank you for standing with us. Advise us, don't mislead us, because on ground there, we don't want to lose any soldier informally. We want to be together, rank and file, because every struggle needs order, needs command, needs control. And for you in the diaspora, we must work together. We are aligned to work together. We must not work in isolation. We must be together. Let's build the ideas together. Let's build the front line together. Let's build the modus operandi together on top of the regime. Let's not do it with isolation. I want to thank you very much for giving me these 15 minutes. I know I have used 14 and a half. And I want to invite maybe 2-3 questions from the audience, and then I'll invite Honorable Katana Benjamin to come and also espouse on a very particular subject of great importance. I'll take the questions. Now you see I have a challenge. That is where you find it a problem. Let me begin with my grandfather there, Mr. Mtiawa. Mr. Mtiawa there is my grandfather. I have not seen him, I have never seen him. I only got the opportunity, and I'm glad he's the one who picked me at the airport. Sir.
Oh, yeah, thank you very, very much, comrade. I'm happy to be here today. This is our 3rd convention here in the United States. Now, my question is a little bit related to what we covered yesterday, but it's also related to the youth. I was trying to see how that federalism we talked about with Dr. I forgot his name, but he's sitting over there. How federalism would help the youth to kind of get away from that unruly situation they have in Kampala, move back in the villages and be more productive. Do you think that that will be an appropriate way to galvanize the youth to be more useful in the fight against the dictator?
Yes, another question. Yes, Mama.
Yes, my name is Obena Nefichu. I'm the coordinator Colorado.
Nice meeting you finally.
And my question is, do you think we should wait for the 2026 elections, whatever we do?
You're asking me that question? Do I think we should wait for the 2026 elections? Okay, thank you. Yes, lastly. Okay, I will take Zane's question last. Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Richard Nyombia. I'm a political analyst for and defending people power and defending Uganda. I would like to ask you this very serious question so that you can answer that. Then what you say, we need two things. We need a freedom charter that every Ugandan can accept into liberating the country. The second thing we need is the creation of jobs, because the Museveni system to this day, have been in the liberation struggles for over 45 years, has not solved the issue of creating jobs. Of which, if we wrote very well a freedom charter based on an example of Norway, we can liberate that country. Every time I've brought this question forward for the freedom charter, it has been trashed. So I don't know what we are after. Because the freedom charter itself, if I'm going to give you an example here, 1 minute. Recently there was a problem where this tall man killed one of the minister in Uganda. The army was in chaos because for 4 years Museveni has oppressed the country using a system, using Ugandans into a security and military system. He has been paying them for the last 1 month. I don't know if you know that every soldier in Uganda has been paid. Because the army was saying now we are going to the opposition. And the freedom charter is the only way out that we can bring the soldiers on board so that they turn against the very man who has been using us, the soldiers, on the population of the country. Why don't we adopt that policy of the freedom charter and creating jobs? That's my question.
Okay. I have been looking so much forward to meeting you physically, Mr. Nyombia Richard, because I have been listening to your presentations online. So I'm glad I have finally met you. And I can only tell you that we will discuss your policy with our team, understand it since we are here. We will accord you the time to understand what you're saying. Because I want us to differentiate two things. We are in a struggle. There are things that we cannot do because we are in a struggle. There are things that are difficult to even implement because they will not allow us for them to kickstart. So we should be mindful of the tasks that we want to give to ourselves. But as I have said, our elder, Mr. Nyombia Richard, that I've been looking forward to meeting you, we will dissect your views to the latter such that by the time we leave this conference, this time, we have a way forward on whatever direction you think we should take. So I do not want to reply to the Freedom Charter that I have not read. I do not want to reply to a policy that I have not discussed with you. I will be lying to you. I will be pretending to be intelligent, yet how do you be intelligent with what you don't know? So we shall discuss with you. If you need 2 or 3 people, we are available. Benjamin there is vast with a lot of knowledge, and Joel and others, Madame Jolie knows so much about policy. So if you have that document, let it be part of our program, and the Secretary to see that we dissect it and you are finally comfortable in this struggle. Mutiaba, my grandfather is talking about federalism. Federalism can only work when we have toppled the dictator. So let us measure on toppling this man. Let us not think about so many things. There is one problem in Uganda. Then all these enemies will align them. Because what are we struggling for? We are struggling to return the power to the people. And what do the people want? It will be done when they have the power. How will they get the power? Let us remove dictator Yoweri Kaguta Museveni with his team. And then these policies, this what, we will be sitting in these rooms to discuss direction. Let us focus on the direction of war, overthrowing the system. And that is what I believe in, that is what our focus is on, because we as the people have a lot of good things we can do. But we cannot do them when the dictator is still at the helm. And I don't want to be here and pretend that I don't know what happens. I mean, you talked about creation of jobs. If they are sure, the other day, Joel, my boss, tried to do something in Akawa, his constituency, to the women, to the young girls and women, something like hygiene, improve their hygiene. They were stopped by insecurity. In Uganda, pads are taxed according to the parliamentary laws. But they refuse giving and pampers. But they refuse a person who has decided to give a helping hand to a girl child because of the system. So how will you create jobs when even giving out a sanitary pad, you are stopped by security? It's a crime. However, as I said, we should not be negative at issues. We will discuss these issues. But on federalism, I can tell you, my grandfather, that this federalism we are talking about, I have my own feelings about it, and they are positive, but I don't want to give it time until I'm satisfied that the problem is out of the way. Let us focus on removing the problem. And once we have removed the problem, the systems shall work, because we shall have returned the power to the people. I know my colleagues, Benjamin and Joel, are very happy that this question has been sent to me in 2026. Now, 2026 is a national calendar. It is not a Museveni calendar. It is a national. Elections are not from Museveni. Just like we are saying he's not the president, even elections are not his. And we should not be tempted to be chased away from what we are fighting for because somebody is using impunity to do it right. We all know that elections are cheated. We all know what we went through. Nobody would want. I was in the front line from the first day. Joel, there, I am yet to ask, I have not yet got the permission. But I remember that his thighs were subjected to anarchy and impunity. I'm trying to choose the right words, such that I don't describe the thigh how it was, and I don't give an opportunity.
But if I use anarchy and impunity, you know what they did to his thighs. We cannot run away from those facts. People were, my brother here, I've seen him for the first time, the journalist, my brother Kasi. You all know what happened. So nobody would want to be in a process that starts General 7. But then that election also put us somewhere. It built the momentum in, first of all, what did we benefit from the 2021 election? We have the mandate of the Ugandans. What we sold to Ugandans accepted, and they gave us the mandate. So today when I am speaking as the deputy spokesperson of a political party that was given power by the people. Nobody will ever take that away from me. So we won the election. And the question of election should not even be pondered up. We won it. Somebody just overturned the process. And for the first time, the way they cheated this election, they reached the time when they did not know how to cheat. And they used impunity. That is why by 2020, listen very carefully, by 2020, political parties were receiving billions of money. Do you know why they were paying them? Not for the election process, because we were in charge of that election process. Museveni never organized that election. We organized that election. He cheated an election that he didn't organize, because his election was, we are in COVID-19, we shall not have public rallies. Wasn't that his statement? We told him, go bury yourself. There's a word he said, go bury yourself, we will go to the people. And he told us we will not go to the people. You know what took him to stop us from going to the people? The Luka massacre, 50 people, 54 are on record. Today we are speaking because of what we also, the gruesomeness of the election. Should it be our focus now, that we focus on 2026? I don't think so. It should not be our focus. But we should not run away from the realities of the national calendar. Not that it should be our focus, but it is a reality of our national calendar. You know that Semogele, Paul Kawanga, did not participate in the 1996 elections. And the state, I will be very open to you of the information that we know. The state believes that NUP will not participate in the next elections. They believe so, that we are not in the next elections. And you know what they are doing? They are propping up candidates for the next election, such that there is the vacuum that is of the NUP is covered by other imposters. And you will hear names and also get shocked, because for us we have some of the names. And we should be very careful. That is why for us as the Secretariat, as leaders, we are tactical and keenly looking at the turn of events as they turn. We cannot wait for the 2026 election to liberate our people. That would be very wrong of us. Can I repeat that? We cannot wait. Our timetable is not to wait, that we wait for 2026. No. But we must not arm the dictator that will run away from the national calendar. It is not his calendar. It is in the Constitution. The reason we are fighting with Museveni is because he is breaking the Constitution. He's breaking the Constitution. And everything that are in the Constitution is what we must protect. There must be elections every 5 years. Those elections must be free and fair. And the person who has won that election must be declared. That is what we are fighting for. So we don't need to wait to have that. That is why we are here. Let us build the capacity to fight. Let us build the momentum. Because that election gave us the momentum. That is why they spent billions of money trying to suffocate the momentum that was built in that bloody election. They can also be used as a tool to topple the system. Not basically that we are going to wait for his announcement, because he will never announce us as winners. That is a fact. But we are working towards forcing him to accept that we are winners, because we are winners. This revolution, lastly, on that matter of elections, is organic. None of you knew that Bobi Wine would be your leader. I believe when he sleeps, he also asks himself some questions. How this whole business is in, how it started in his mind and how he ended up here. I know sometimes he poses that question within himself. But the revolution is organic. It's not, that's why we can't stop it. It is growing every day. And for me, I believe we should let it be organic. Let us handle events as they come. For as long as it is our timetable, not their timetable. I repeat this. It must not be their timetable. It must be our timetable. Of course, if we talk on Museveni today, and the power is back in your hands, still you can decide to organize ourselves the elections of 2026. The challenge is that people think Museveni is going to be alive and around forever. No. There will even be a day you receive the bad news that is dead.
Good news.
I did not want to say good news. But as a human being, there is a day you will get the good news that the man who has been disturbing this country is dead. I'm only working so hard for him to die, not the president of Uganda. So for me, I believe that to answer you strictly and straight, let's not wait for 2026. We can talk on 7 tomorrow, the other day. Let us measure on the measures. However, the system should not chase us away from the national calendar. Let me tell you what we benefit from processes like elections. For example, they say we did not have support in northern Uganda, and they lost Olanya. You know what they did in that election also? You would not have seen the support we have if the secretary did not decide that whatever they are going to let them do, but let us demystify their deceit and propaganda. Because we are not allowed, I am speaking to you this freely, but I am not be allowed to speak like this in Serena to the young people. But in an election, they will allow me to go to Camera Maido and pass the message of change and at least influence and inspire 2 or 3 that have never seen any of us or heard this message. So we also use it as a momentum tool of knowledge to those places we have not fully penetrated. You've read about something called escapism in literature. Escapism, it is where somebody plays cards instead of eating lunch, thinking that when you play the cards, the time of lunch will go by itself when you have run to the game of cards. But even after the cards, you will still need to eat. So we should be very, very, very keen not to act out of escapism. God bless you. People power, our power, NUP, everywhere. Lastly, Zane.
Thank you. I think I get your idea. Oh, go ahead.
Lastly, I'm listening.
Okay.
The microphone.
Thank you, Honorable Fumiro. I think I get your point when you say 2026 is a national, it's our day, not the service. I get that point, but If you don't, they put other people to rationalize their winning elections. Okay. Nevertheless, I would like to ask some questions. As an elder, I've traveled around, I've seen things. And one of the things I see is that all over the world, except for the Jews who were killed during Nazi Germany, or for the Rwanda genocide, even in Uganda, we have Rwandese memorial sites for the genocide in Rwanda. We have had more genocide in Uganda, over 3 million people genocide. And I'm shocked and very perturbed to find that there's a certain kind of silence, there's a conspiracy of silence on the issue of genocide in Uganda by the Rwandese Tutsi refugees who took over our government. And I think it's a big mistake and emboldens Museveni and Kagame to continue bringing troops. You're talking about outside election. Museveni is going to bring in Rwandese troops, is going to bring in Burundi troops like they did last time, and kill our people. So I feel that if we don't address the issue of Rwandese, Burundian Tutsi take over Uganda government, we are actually endangering our children, we're endangering our country. We have to internationally talk about an extremist Rwandese Tutsi refugee group that took over the government of Uganda. And I think it's a big mistake not to do so, because I did it, I was pushed out of Boston conference fact-finding meeting by one of the members of People Power. We are believing in democracy. If we believe to have democracy in the future for Uganda, then we have to practice democracy now. And when I'm, as a concerned elder who saw Rwandese come to my country, we helped them in Toronto. So for that reason, I'm saying, please, and it will be good for the Rwandese. And I tell you that I have children that are paid tuition for that I have Rwandese. My nephews, my nieces. So my point is, please, let's address this issue, because if we don't, it's going to be like in Congo. Right now in Congo, they're hunting down Rwandese. And in fact, I was talking to my half Rwandese child. I tell him maybe you go to Toronto, because when things start around you, maybe a victim, people are very angry. So let us deal with the Rwandese. You Rwandese who are here, and the members of this leadership here, do not stop us indigenous Ugandans from addressing the issue of your extremist Rwandese Tutsi refugees who have taken over the government of Uganda and are killing, have killed 3-4 million people. It's a big mistake. And so I'm requesting that this should be addressed to the world, not only in Uganda, because I found that the bloggers are only talking in Uganda. People actually don't understand Uganda. People don't understand Uganda. Let us not do this for internal political consumption. Because that can be done. You do it for internal people listening in Uganda, but we want the Americans to know what's going on in Uganda. We want to know that Uganda, the situation is not a normal dictatorship. That the dictatorship there is a refugee takeover. The American government intentionally put a refugee group like they did in Niger. They put another 0.8 Arabs in Niger. This is a new way of getting dictators, because they know the natives will not stand for it. They will not sell out their country. Because we have 31 million tons of gold. That's what we've been done. They want our gold.
Thank you.
So let us address the issue of Rwandese takeover of Uganda government and the killing of 3 million Ugandans.
Thank you. Now, please clap for Mzee. He has a very serious issue, but I want to tell you two things. One, we should be very extremely careful. Extremely careful not to break the national grid of what we are chasing for. Number one, let me give you the statistics. Most of the Rwandese are in Mitiana, Chiwoga, where she comes from, and other areas. We want square where they are. Because if they are living in Uganda, they are not living in an isolated Uganda. The problem we have in Uganda is General Museveni. You have described him properly, his origin, and I don't want to doubt, because people say he's not a Ugandan, and I've also studied, and I don't find where he's a Ugandan. Now, just a minute. Yes, sir.
Point of information. We should call a spade a spade.
Thank you.
Obote employed Museveni. Obote is on the podcast telling you Museveni is not a Ugandan.
Thank you.
So who are you to say that you don't know where he came from?
No. I have categorically stated that I have read.
Where he got him from?
Let me say what I've said again. I have read and I have not read anywhere that is a Ugandan. That is what I say. Yes. So it means I'm confirming that he's not a Ugandan. Because if I had read and I had seen that he's a Ugandan, I would say he is. So I was being polite to say he's not a Ugandan, but by using too much English. Now, but I don't want my point to die out. I pray I finish. We have a problem in Uganda, and the problem is General Museveni. Before I look at his tribe, God has given me the ability to identify the problem. The problem is human called Museveni. So I want to remove this man, whether he's Congolese, whether he's Chinese, whether he's Indian, whether he's Russian. I want to remove that man who is identified as Museveni and all his cronies. Because inclusivity of his cronies, the person who massacred the people in Kasese was Elwelu. So shall we leave Elwelu? Because we are looking for a particular group of people. Everybody who has done heinous crimes against Ugandans, whatever tribe they are, they will pay. Let's not discriminate. I'm telling you, people who are doing big, bad things, some of them are our own.
Collaborators.
Yes. So we know the problem. Let's attack the problem. And the problem is Museveni. Whether it's Rwandese, whether it's Tutsi, whether it's Chinese, whether it's what, he's the problem. Let us handle him as the problem. And his cronies. Because we know them. God has given us the ability. We know the problem. To call on so many other fights is to run away from the problem. The problem is General Museveni. With his background, whether it is Rwandese, whether it is what, he's the problem. And I can tell you folks, let me tell you, even if the Rwandans want to take over Uganda, they can't. We are big in number by population. Statistics are clear. And we have not stopped giving birth. Ugandans are still doing it well like they have done it before. So for me, my problem as Waiswa is General Museveni. I don't look at who he is because it no longer matters to me. He is the problem and his people. And that is where our focus should be. In my considered opinion. Because I will not have, like he said, he has half children. He calls them half, but he has children who are his. Okay? And I believe they subscribe to his understanding. Let us not disempower those who are with us in the fight. Let us focus to empower everybody for as long as they are with us. Our accountability is anchored on Batulagira Kuchi. Because some of those who have betrayed us are our own. Okay? So we should not isolate the challenges we face. We should understand them, identify them, and once we have identified them, let's attack that issue. We will win over it. However, we have promised ourselves, being that we are in Soga, that we are going to also discuss it further. For me, I speak things the way I've understood them, and definitely we will have a lengthy discussion about that topic. And nobody should tell you that we'll keep quiet against genocide in Uganda. I am here telling you that Museveni murdered 54 people, led by a commando unit from Somalia. If I can say that, then why can't I say any other person who has done it? Let us attack the problem on the front line. Let us not look for proxies. You know, there's no reason why you want to fight somebody very far when there is this one that you want to attack. Once we have removed Museveni, even these people who think that have been empowered by him, they will run in the morning. For us in Kampala, what we have done is to identify the property. Awani, Yafuna Watia, Afuna Meka. We have all those processes. You get my point? People power, our power, people power. They are very tired the other side. People power, our power, people power. NUP, everywhere. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown in the new Uganda. Benjamin Katana, please come and speak at the congregation. Like this brother of mine, and for him, you'll allow me to say it. Sometimes people have defined him as a Rwandese. But he's a Ugandan. He's a Mnyankole actually, not even a Rwandese at that. So some people, even me, one of the reasons I died every day to tell people, you people are in Soga. Some people will say that because of my handsomeness, that our handsomeness is like. I thank the ladies for the advice. So I decided to assure them that if you want to know how handsome Msoga is, then I am the true God. So sometimes it is disempowering when you are attacked falsely and you're in the front line. And I want to implore us to really examine by judging people by their actions, not by their background. It is very, very important that I wanted to make that point and say it with clarity. At this time, allow me to invite my brother here. He's going to give us a very strong presentation. Please listen to him, because for us to have got the chance to listen to him, I've always got wisdom from his presentations. And because it will be cheating of us for him to go away. He is always a man in the background, but it will be cheating of us if he does not share whatever he has to share. So my brother, you have, I know we have given you too much time, but we have cut it now to about 15 minutes. Please.
Thank you very much, People power, our power, people power. NUP, everywhere. Good evening, comrades. My name is Benjamin Katana, like I have been introduced. And this evening, I have the honor to be here. First of all, not like wife who is happy because he has had the chance to go to White House, but because we are here to discuss very important business of removing a dictatorship from Uganda. I'm also very happy to be here because of the critical role that you have been playing in this struggle. The diaspora community, not necessarily of today, but since time immemorial, has been a very critical player in the liberation struggles of Africa. And actually most of the running ideologies about African liberation, like Pan-Africanism, originated from the diaspora. So it is very important that you have been playing this role, but it's not surprising because of many factors. And one of them being the exposure that you have had, that many people back at home have not had. You know what it means to live in a country where there is justice. You know what it means to live in a country where there is inclusivity. You know how to live in a country where institutions work. Some of our brothers and sisters have not had that chance. But there are those who have had the chance to live in these communities, but they have chosen to ignore what happens back at home. So for doing the right thing, we thank you and we are very proud of you.
So today I have been given a responsibility to talk about a subject that we are all familiar with, that we speak about every day. But to lead us in a discussion about the nature of the dictatorship that we are dealing with in Uganda and how we can add another gear in disempowering that dictatorship. But we must note that fighting a dictatorship is not an event. And in this room, I have seen veterans of the liberation struggle in Uganda. I may not need to mention names. They have been at it. They have not given up. And those that entrench the dictatorship, they actually want you to give up. So this subject we are all familiar with. We have discussed it